I do have three plays that I'm really liking in basketball. We've been crushing it in the props for points, rebounds, and assists, and also for the shots on goal for hockey. So I have three plays for you guys for today. If you haven't done so, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you check out the links in the description for. I'm also going to give you an offer for a free app that I'm using that I created. So if you guys want to stick around for that, I got three plays in basketball. So let me just get started real quick. First thing I want to do is I want to go to this line move tool. And what this line move tool does is it goes out and it searches, actually pulls the information from all the line moves from the sports books. So currently, I know it's kind of hard to see there, but let me kind of zoom in a little bit. And currently, for example, it starts here, Hawks 240 and went down to 235. So that's a 5-point line move. It went down. So there's a little green check mark here that tells you it went down 5 points. Same thing with the Rockets and the Mavericks. It went down 3 points. And this, I know it's a little bit complicated to understand this, but once you start seeing this daily, it's pretty simple to understand. All you really need to look at is this green number here that says 5 points, and then the current strong lean, which is the opening of 240. So again, this is decent information. It's just a little complicated to understand at first when you first see it. So here's the three plays that I'm looking at. The first one I'm looking at is the 226. I'm sorry, the under on the Bucks and the Pistons. And again, this comes from the Sharp Edge. If you want access to that, check that out. Also, the Bucks and the Pistons, they went from a 9.5. So let me start going through this. So the first one is the Bucks and the Pistons. They started at a 226. They're currently at a 224. So the line dropped 2 points. Okay. Then we have the Bucks and the Pistons. The line started at a 2.5. It's currently at a 12.5. So that's a 3-point line move. And that tells you that right here. And then we look at the Cavaliers and the Warriors. The Cavaliers started at a 5.5, and they're currently at a 7.5. So that's a 2-point line move. So again, this is not the end-all be-all information, but this is a starting point, and it tells you where to start looking. So for example, it tells you here, start looking at the Pistons 9.5, Cavaliers 5.5, and the under 226 on the Bucks and the Pistons. So let me go in here now, and I start looking at the injuries for these games. The injuries for these games is what makes a big difference on the totals, is that the back-to-backs. So the back-to-backs, what this means is that the teams played yesterday. These teams played yesterday, and they're playing again today. So that causes fatigue. Some of them are on the road. I'm not going to get into all those details, but basically when that happens, you want to start looking at the unders, specifically the injuries, things like that, because that affects the team that is on the road and at home if they played yesterday. So it's just human nature. Obviously, if they're tired, they're going to be less productive. So Milwaukee is one of those teams that played yesterday, and so is Detroit. So both of these teams played yesterday, and this is a dramatic thing to look at on the under because both teams are tired. Not only that, but you see Giannis right here is out, and then you got these two guys over here that are questionable and out. So the big one here is Giannis. He's out. So that alone is already 30 points you can take off the board. And that's the reason that this line, again, shifted from a 226 to a 224. You start looking at the back-to-back stuff, the Giannis being out, both teams being on a back-to-back. Milwaukee is starting these guys here, which is Porter, Rollins, Kuzma, Turner, and Sims. None of those guys are superstars. Okay, Detroit has very good defense. It's a B+ defense, which means it's top rated. So you think about this, the horrible offense here with a great defense here. Okay, and then you add all the other facts that I just said. So great defense, sorry offense, injuries, back-to-back, everything starts making sense. Milwaukee also on the road. They're very fatigued, and Detroit at home is very good. So the projected total from just the projections in general is 225. So that, again, is still lower than the 224. So what I'm doing here for the first game, I'm going to give you guys, I bought it back to the original line of 226. So Detroit Pistons, Milwaukee Bucks, I bought it at the original opening line of 226 on the under. Okay, currently it's at a 224. Now, the next game, the next play is on the same game. Okay. And I'm going to give you the reasoning. So it's two different plays. The first one is the under 226. Second one I'm looking at is the Bucks and the Pistons. You can see the Pistons started at a 9.5. They're currently at a 12.5. Again, it's going to go back to the injuries, especially with Giannis is out, and they're on a back-to-back. And plus the defense on the Detroit side is going to be a no-brainer. I don't know if it's going to be a blowout. The current line is 12.5. That's a lot. That's a large number to cover. So what I'm doing on this one is I'm buying it back to the original line of Pistons minus 9.5. So that's my second play I'm going to hook you guys up with. Before I give you the third one, like I said, these are the back-to-back teams. This is good information to have because sometimes the lines don't make sense, and that's because they're tired. I have one more play I'm going to hook you guys up with, but I wanted to go through a couple of props and stuff like that I have. So these posters we post on YouTube, Reddit, X, Instagram, and TikTok. So make sure you subscribe here on YouTube if you haven't done so, and you get these on our posts. So these are just hot streaks. These are not our final plays. These are the players that are extremely hitting their line a lot. So these are hot streak posters. I hope that makes sense. These are not our final plays. These are just hot streaks. So points, rebounds, and assists for these guys here, Kawhi Leonard, things like that. Okay. Now, same thing with the shots on goal. And then we also have an anytime touchdowns. So tomorrow I'll be posting the anytime touchdowns. If you're subscribed, you would have got that on Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. So anyway, here's the shots on goal for these players here. Okay. Now, like I mentioned at the beginning of this, if you want the app for the Sharp Edge that gives me all this information that I just shared, it's free because I'm testing the app itself. The website has been done for months, but now I'm transferring it over to a phone app. And it's free if you guys want access to that because I need your help to give me an update on what looks good, what is missing, what's broken, because it's a new app. Okay, so if you guys are interested in that, make sure you send me a text and say, hey, I'm interested in becoming a free beta tester for your app. Okay, so here's the number. Hell yeah, good intel. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Yeah, you're welcome. All right, cool. So one last thing I'll say before I give you guys the plays. The last play, I have 4 different plays right here for the NBA. I gave you 2 of them, which was this one and this one. I have 2 more. And those you can do the free. I'm sorry, not the free, but the VIP. You could do 1 day, 1 week, 1 month, 6 months. And that'll give you all of our plays. And we're still missing hockey, props, and stuff like that. This is not the full slate for today. This is just the stuff that I looked at in the morning. So again, this one I gave away. This one I gave away already. I'm going to give you this one. And then this one is inside of VIP. All of these props are shots on goal and points, rebounds, and assists. The posters I gave you, that's good information, but that's not our final plays because we go through I have videos on how I come up with all these plays. So just don't just go and take all of these guys. You have to still do research behind it. And that's the research that we do in the morning. And that's all this stuff here. So if you want all those VIP picks, go to the link in the description. All right, make sure you also get the free picks in the description as well. Can I get 2 locks? I already gave you 2 of them. I'm going to give you the third one here. So Warriors and Cavaliers. The Cavaliers started at a 5.5. Now you have to take into consideration that the Cavaliers played yesterday. That's why this is important. Cavaliers is right here. And you can see Warriors is not. So Warriors do have an advantage as far as the back-to-back rested. But I'm going to give you a very important information that why this play is going to be so strong. So even with them playing yesterday, they're at home. So they're tired, but they're at home. So they're not traveling. Plus, the line shifted 2 points. Okay. And then we start looking here and just look at these guys. They are decimated. They are very, very bad. And the big one is Stephen Curry. So if he plays, that line is going to go the other way. But currently it's saying that he's not going to play. And then you can see Butler is also questionable. And it's pretty much their entire starting lineup right here is questionable. So The only one on this side that does hurt their team a lot is this Garland here. But even with Garland, he's been injured pretty much a lot of the games already this season, and they still been winning. You can see their record is 14-10. Warriors are 11-12. And like I said, Butler's questionable. Curry is questionable. Green is questionable. Melton is questionable. Actually, this other guy is the other Curry, I guess. This one says he's out. So I want to go and confirm that. I'm pretty sure. Let me go back in here. Let me check something. Yeah, Stephen Curry is out. So the other guy must be his brother or whatever, his cousin, whatever it is. The Stephen Curry or whatever the hell his name is. So anyway, it's a little confusing, but Steph Curry is out. And he, again, is like Giannis. He's one of the top scorers in the league, and he's out. So I'm taking Cleveland on a -5.5. And then, like I said, I parlayed 2 plays out of these 3 inside the other one. All right, so let me just go back and give you the 3 plays again. I went and I took this at the original numbers. So I did, the original line was 226, is currently 224. I went back and I bought the original line of 226. The Pistons started at 9.5. They're currently at a 12.5. I ended up going back and buying the original line of 9.5. And then I did the Cavaliers. This one's a little bit of a higher risk because of the back-to-back. So both of these are back-to-back, both of these teams. So that doesn't give one sway to one way or the other, but this one does because the Warriors are rested and the Cavaliers are not. So this one is a little bit of a higher risk, but again, Stephen Curry is missing. So, all right, guys. So I don't want to just keep repeating myself. This is the 3 plays I'm going with. And if you guys are interested, make sure you get the free picks in the description and subscribe to YouTube. If you're on X, go to YouTube and go to Beast Sports Picks. It's just as it's written here on my screen. And then you would get the plays there as well. All right, guys. Let me know if you have any questions. Otherwise, take a screenshot of this. These are the hot streaks for these plays. And then I'll be back tomorrow for football. And if you guys are interested in this free app, like I said, send me a text message. And then I'll get you hooked up with that. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Let's have a great day. Thank you.